Hello, friends. Welcome to Crime Chronicles US, where America's unsolved mysteries, vanished criminals, and chilling cases come alive. Every story is real, every detail matters, and the truth remains buried in the shadows. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay updated with every mystery. The night settles over the city like a held breath. Bombay, in the late 1980s, does not sleep easily. It murmurs, it groans. It sweats under sodium streetlights and the weight of too many lives pressed too close together. Pavements become bedrooms. Railway platforms turn into villages. The homeless curl into themselves, invisible to those who hurry past. Eyes trained forward, minds elsewhere. Somewhere in this city, a man is walking. His footsteps are unremarkable. He blends in perfectly, another shadow among shadows. In his hand is a stone, heavy, rough, ordinary, the kind of stone you'd kick aside without a thought. Tonight, it will become something else. The man stops. A body lies ahead, asleep on the pavement, wrapped in thin cloth, face turned toward the gutter. The sleeper breathes slowly, deeply. The city has not been kind to him, but sleep has claimed him anyway. The man with the stone watches for a moment, listening. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry. Then the stone rises. When it comes down, it does not sound like murder. It sounds like construction, like work being done. A dull, final thud swallowed by the night. By morning, the city will pretend not to notice. The first bodies appear without pattern, or at least that is how it seems. A man crushed in his sleep near a construction site. Another near a railway station. Another under a flyover. Police constables scribble notes, yawn, wave traffic through. Accidents happen. Stones fall. People fight. The poor die easily. But the injuries are strange. Heads shattered. Faces destroyed beyond recognition. No defensive wounds. No signs of struggle. Whoever did this struck once, with terrible precision, and walked away. In police stations across Bombay, files pile up quietly. No alarms are raised. No press conferences are called. There is no word yet for what is happening. Fear always arrives before language. Rumors begin among pavement dwellers first. Men who sleep lightly. Women who wake at every sound. They whisper about a shadow that kills sleepers, about a stone that falls from the sky, about a man who comes only at night. Some laugh it off. Fear is a luxury when hunger is louder. But some stop sleeping deeply. Some stay awake until dawn, backs against walls, eyes burning. In the daytime, the city remains indifferent. Buses roar, offices open, tea boils. Somewhere, a headline about a crushed skull appears on page 6, boxed between advertisements. It is forgotten by lunch. Then another body is found, and another. By the time the police realize these deaths are connected, the man with the stone has already perfected his rhythm. He chooses places where the city is loud, even at night. Near rail tracks, near factories, near traffic. Sound is his accomplice. He chooses victims who will not be missed. Men without addresses. Men without records. Men whose names will be guessed at, if they are written down at all. The newspapers finally notice when the pattern becomes undeniable. A serial killer. The words arrive like an electric shock. Bombay has seen riots, bombings, gang wars. But a man who kills sleeping strangers with a stone feels different. Intimate, primitive. There is no ideology, no ransom, no message. Just death delivered at the most vulnerable moment. They give him a name because names make monsters manageable. The Stone Man. Police sketches appear, vague and useless. A shadowy male figure, medium build, ordinary clothes, everyone and no one. Phone lines open for tips. They ring mostly with nonsense. Inside the police force, frustration thickens. There are no witnesses, no weapon recovered, no clear motive. Senior officers demand results. Junior officers patrol at night, eyes red, tempers short. They shout at sleepers, kick them awake, tell them to move along, as if exhaustion itself is a crime. Some officers are afraid. They do not say it out loud. The killer seems to know their movements. When patrols increase in one area, the next body appears somewhere else. He is patient. He can wait days, weeks, then strike again, as if to remind them he exists. In Calcutta, nearly 1,000 miles away, someone reads the reports with a chill of recognition. The details are too familiar. The method, the victims, the stone. Years earlier, in Calcutta's slums and streets, a similar terror had walked at night. Bodies of homeless men found with skulls smashed. Panic among pavement dwellers. Police baffled. Then, suddenly, it stopped. No arrest had ever been made. The idea that the same man might have returned or never left spreads quietly through police circles. It is a horrifying thought. A killer who can pause his hunger and resume it years later. In Bombay, a senior officer slams his fist on a desk and demands a breakthrough. Under pressure, theories multiply. Is the killer mentally ill? A migrant worker? A construction laborer familiar with stones and silence? Is he targeting men only, or is that coincidence? Is there a pattern to the locations, or are they chosen at random? Every theory collapses under scrutiny. The killer leaves nothing behind. No fingerprints, no footprints that matter. The stone, when found, is indistinguishable from thousands of others. He is using the city itself as camouflage. Meanwhile, the fear spreads beyond the homeless. Middle-class residents begin locking windows more tightly. Parents warn children about strangers, even though the victims are not children. Taxi drivers refuse certain routes at night. Watchmen grip lathis a little harder. The Stoneman has done something remarkable. He has made a city of millions feel watched. Late one night, a constable on patrol pauses near a sleeping group of men. Something feels wrong. The street is too quiet. He raises his torch, sweeping the beam across the pavement. For a brief second, he thinks he sees someone moving away. Just a blur, just a trick of the light. By the time he reaches the spot, it is too late. Another skull is broken, another life erased. The press grows vicious. Editorials accuse the police of incompetence. Politicians demand action, while quietly hoping the deaths stay far from their neighborhoods. The killer becomes a figure of dark fascination. Some papers speculate wildly, printing imaginary profiles, turning him into a mythic predator. But the truth, whatever it is, remains stubbornly out of reach. In interrogation rooms, Suspects sit sweating under bare bulbs. Petty criminals, mentally ill men, migrant laborers with no alibis. They are questioned, threatened, sometimes beaten. Confessions are extracted, then unravel within hours. None of them fit. None of them know details only the killer would know. Each false lead deepens the despair. Among the homeless, survival tactics evolve. People sleep in groups. They take turns staying awake. They wedge themselves into narrow spaces where an attacker could not swing a stone easily. Some carry their own stones, talismans of defense that offer more comfort than protection. Still, the killings continue. One night, a railway worker hears something that makes him stop mid-step. A sound like a sack of grain hitting the ground. He turns, heart racing, but sees only darkness. By the time help arrives, the killer is gone. The case begins to consume the officers assigned to it. Dreams fill with crushed faces. Wives complain of silence at dinner. Children notice their fathers staring into space. The city's grime seeps into their bones. Then, abruptly, the killings stop. Days pass, then weeks. No new bodies. Patrols remain tense, but relief creeps in despite best efforts to suppress it. Perhaps he has moved on. Perhaps he has been scared off. Perhaps, like before, he has simply vanished. The newspapers declare the terror over. Attention shifts. Life resumes its brutal normalcy. But unanswered questions linger, heavy and unresolved. Who was he? Why did he stop? Will he return? In dusty police files, photographs of shattered skulls are clipped together, labeled, and shelved. Officers are reassigned. The Stone Man becomes a story told in hindsight, a warning whispered to newcomers. Somewhere, a man blends back into the crowd, unremarkable once more. The stone is set down, or perhaps it is not. Perhaps it waits. The city exhales, unaware that some nightmares do not end. They only pause. The silence after terror is never clean. It hums. It lingers like a bruise pressed too hard. Bombay tries to forget, but forgetting is not the same as healing. For the men who sleep on pavements, nights never fully return to what they were. Even when exhaustion wins, even when eyes close, some part of the mind stays awake, listening for footsteps that should not be there. In police records, the case remains officially unsolved. Unofficially, it becomes a ghost story, told inside stations late at night. Younger officers listen wide-eyed as seniors lower their voices and say the name that should not matter, but does: the Stone Man. They talk about him the way sailors talk about storms that come without warning and leave without apology. In Calcutta, old files are pulled again. Yellowed papers, grainy photographs, the same damage, the same choice of victims. Men asleep, heads crushed. No theft, no message. The similarities are too strong to dismiss, yet too weak to prove in court. Two cities, one shadow. Psychologists speculate years later. They say perhaps he was driven by rage against invisibility. Perhaps he chose sleepers because they represented surrender. Perhaps the stone was symbolic, a tool requiring closeness, effort, commitment. Or perhaps he killed because he could, because the city allowed him to. None of these theories bring the dead back. Families are hard to find because many victims had none that could be traced. A few names surface. A few villages receive word, that a son who never sent money home is gone for good. Grief arrives late and without ceremony. Sometimes, a man is arrested on unrelated charges and rumors flare again. Is this him? Is the nightmare finally caught? But no evidence ever links anyone conclusively. The killer remains faceless, almost abstract, which somehow makes him more frightening. Years turn into decades. The cities change. Flyovers rise. Slums are cleared and rebuilt. New people sleep on old pavements, unaware of the blood once soaked into the cracks beneath them. Newspapers run anniversary pieces. True crime writers dig into the mystery, framing it as one of India's most chilling unsolved cases. And still, there is no ending that feels like an ending. Because the most unsettling possibility is not that the Stoneman escaped justice. It is that he was never extraordinary. That he was a man who worked a job, stood in queues, rode trains, argued about prices, laughed at jokes. A man who knew exactly when the streets were loud enough to hide his crime. A man who understood that some lives would not be counted carefully. If that is true, then the story is not just about a killer. It is about a city that did not see certain people until they were dead. Late one night, years later, an old pavement dweller in Calcutta tells a younger man why he never sleeps on his back. He gestures vaguely with his hand, as if brushing away a memory. Long time ago, he says, something bad used to walk at night. The younger man laughs, not unkindly. Stories, he says. The old man does not argue. He simply turns onto his side, facing the wall, protecting his head with his arm. Habit is a form of memory. Somewhere, perhaps, an old man does the same in a different house, in a different city. His hands are empty now. Or maybe they are not. Maybe the stone is still close, ordinary and silent. The truth is locked inside a mind no one has ever questioned properly, or perhaps no longer can. There is no confession waiting to be discovered, no final revelation, no courtroom scene where justice stands and announces itself. The Stoneman does not get a neat conclusion. What remains instead is unease, the knowledge that violence does not always announce itself loudly, that sometimes it walks calmly through familiar streets, that it chooses those who are least protected, least visible, least likely to be avenged. And every night, when the city dims and bodies settle into sleep, the memory stirs faintly, not as panic, but as instinct, a shift, a tightening, a glance over the shoulder. Because some killers are never caught, and some stories do not end. They simply wait in the dark, as quiet as a stone resting on the ground, until someone remembers to look down. So friends, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Crime Chronicles US for more chilling, unsolved mysteries from across America. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next story.